So let's have a bit of a chat about working mastery, okay? We can't really talk about mastery before we've addressed love consciousness, what love actually is, right? Because the working master is like the ideal embodiment and enabler of love. And you've all got some understanding of what love is. You've all got some activation of your own little love center. You will let yourselves receive a certain amount of love, as long as it's of a particular flavor that you're comfortable with, or it comes to you in a way that you're familiar with, or that you recognize as being love. You're even all capable of exuding love, though you limit yourselves. You place limitations. You're capable of unconditional love in moments. How good does that feel when that happens? But then there's the stuff that gets in the way of it. The stuff that expects return. The stuff that expects or wants certain responses from other people. The stuff that's been hurt in the past, expects and anticipates hurt, so it recoils. The stuff that anticipates the hurt and the harm that it is going to cause, so recoils, limits. Your unity with love itself is a work in progress. Your unity with life itself is a work in progress. Basically, God stuff is love stuff. Let yourself feel the love that I feel while we're going through this process, because that's going to help you to get a sense of how it can be, how love actually feels, what love actually is, without that tainted stuff, without the conditions, without the limitations, with the heart center fully open. Be aware of your love, but feel the love that I'm sharing with you while we talk about this. So God is love stuff. God is actually life itself. God is all things, all expressions, everything in existence, across all dimensions. God is all physical matter. God is all human creatures. God is every soul, every oversoul, every monad, every universe. God is infinity, eternal. God doesn't fucking end. God is in all things. God is expressing and experiencing through all things. God is love, expressing, exploring through life. And I want you to imagine, I mean, obviously it's more complex and multidimensional than this, but I want you to imagine that God is like this conscious mass of energy that got so filled up with love, so excited about love, that pure, unconditional, joy-filled love. God came to know and to understand love. God experienced love. And then God got so fucking filled with that love and so fucking excited about that love that God wanted to share that fucking love with everything and everyone. All things and in every way possible. God was like, fuck man, this is so fucking good. Yeah, God speaks English and he swears. It swears. This is so fucking amazing. Let's explore all the ways that love can possibly be explored. Let's see all the combinations. Let's discover all the pathways. Let's see everything that love encompasses, love entails, and let's get everything, every single part in here, feeling, experiencing, pulsating, combining in a state of love. It's like if you are so filled with love that you just go, oh my God, this is so fucking good. I want this experienced in every way possible. And then God goes, let's go forth and have experience. But the point of that experience is so that every single part, every single atom, molecule of life contained within Source, within God, can experience that exquisite love that God itself experiences. It's like if you did that and your heart was filled with so much love that it just, wanted to explode out of you, but the only thing that you had was your own body. So you go, and you're like, every single cell in my body, every single little atom, every single little molecule, I want you to experience in your own right this love that I feel. And so you would explode yourself out into the smallest parts. And if you just exploded yourself out into your smallest parts, you would make infinity and eternity as well. And some of you have heard me talk about that, the way that every single molecule and atom in your body is connected with every single other molecule and atom that exists. And there's like an infinite number of combinations. Love experience between these two atoms and these two atoms, and that atom with that one, and that one with that one, and that one with that one, and in this state, and it just gets more and more and more complex. And this is the experience that God is having. It's like every single way that love can be experienced, it must be experienced because it's so good. It has to be explored. This is something that needs to be explored. And so God just expands, extrapolates out and out and out and out and out. And we've got these complex systems that become more and more simple as they refine down. Because you can't just divide yourself into every single little atom in your body. First, you got to start with dividing into the different systems in your body, and then the different organs in your body, and then you divide at cellular level, and then and it breaks down into these smaller and smaller parts. And this is how God is exploring itself in every possible way, in every possible combination. It's just that God is bigger than you. We've got more stuff to share around. And so we, as a part of God, are fulfilling our role by discovering that love that God discovered. Learning how to feel that, how to embody that, how to embrace that, how to share that in our own right. How to become self-sourcing. That's what it means to become self-sourcing. You are able in your own right to produce love. You're able to seed love. It's not something that you have to receive from outside of you. It's definitely not something that you just replicate based on what other people are doing. But it's like this self-seeding thing. The heart is reconnected to whatever degree that the heart can with God's stuff, and is able to produce this feeling of love. And you're all working towards that. And that's where the great ascension happens. But the great ascension is just a return to the love. Because what happens when you are self-sourcing and you are filled, so remember that everything in you is alive. So it's like the heart starts self-sourcing. The heart is able to produce love, and it starts there. But then everything in you is able to produce love. Your cells buzz with love. You can produce love through every single part of you, across every single one of your bodies, through all of the energy that you were made up of. Love is sourcing. Love oozes out of you. And when love is oozing out of you in that way, when you are of love, you are literally made of love, or you remember that you're made of love because you are made of love. You just forgot. And it's covered up by all this fear stuff that's not love. But when you have that experience, then you recognize the love in all things. You recognize the love in everyone and everything. You recognize the love that is coursing through life itself. The love in all things, the love that binds and unites all things. And so you have this experience not just of unity consciousness, because unity consciousness is more of like a mental unity and oneness with all things. And that's a glorious and essential stepping stone. But it moves beyond that to, well, everything is of God. And yes, everything is. And you transcend duality. Nothing is better, nothing is worse, nothing is good, nothing is bad. It all is, and I am, and we're one, and it all is, and I'm sharing that feeling with you. Let yourself feel it. And then we move beyond that to the experience of life itself, which is love stuff in motion. God in the state of being experienced. Love and life united. The stuff of God. And when you move into that as a state of being, and there's love in every part of you, you are naturally attuned to love life, because that's what it is. It's beyond human love. It's beyond even unconditional love, the love life stuff. You are attuned to and you are one with all of love, which means all of life. And you're a multidimensional being then. You're sourcing love, you're able to produce love, and you are one with the love that flows through, expresses through all things. There's no difference. You recognize the unique vibration that is yours in amongst all of that love stuff, and you have respect for the unique vibration of that love stuff that you are, and you fulfill your task, your duty as a part of this love stuff in embodying that unique vibration that you are, exploring it, expressing it, being you. But you also have this experience of, the love in everything is the love in me. Makes no difference here or there, or which dimension, or which fucking universe, or which fucking timeline you're on. It is love life stuff. And when that's your experience, can you feel how life can work through you? Can you feel what I mean when I say that you want for nothing? Conditional love is love that wants for something. Anything that has conditions placed on it is something that wants for something. It's not altruistic in nature. It can't be. Because it wants a certain response, a certain reaction, to feel a certain way as a result of whatever it is doing. It wants for something. It's not fulfilled. It's not whole yet. It's not in that state of unity, love, life consciousness that I'm describing. But when you are in that state of being, when you are one with, when you are self-sourcing, when you recognize the love in all things, which means you recognize the love in you and the love that you are, then you are fulfilled. What could you possibly want? What could another person's reaction or response possibly change in you? You are of love, so regardless, you feel that love. You have compassion and understanding. You're in place. You're okay. You're whole. You're complete. If others have reactions, you understand why they're having the reactions that they're having. And all you can do is extend warmth and love towards them. You got nothing else to give them. So you transcend all of these human feelings of greed and selfishness, unworthiness, superiority, jealousy. You transcend the ability to be insulted, to take things personally, to make anything mean anything. You've moved beyond that. So all of those feelings that you struggle with, they're not things that you have to struggle with anymore. They're not things that you have to control in yourself. They're not things that you have to keep under wraps so they don't act out. You've moved beyond them. You can't even remember how to feel those things because all you remember is this love that you feel. All you remember is the truth of who and what you are, the truth of who and what everyone and everything else is. That's all that remains. But it's not some blissed out, lifeless state that exists outside of the human experience, because remember as well that contained within love is the complete and full plethora of all experience and all feelings. So all is available, but it's not what's chosen. It's not what's programmed into you. It's not what your instinct is. You're free to choose. And that's what the working master is. They have this as a state of being. This unity, love, life consciousness that I'm talking about. They recognize that in everyone, in everything. And they choose that as their state of being. They choose to respond from that. They choose to nurture that because that's how they serve. And their hearts, their love stuff is filled with this altruism, because remember, even God was so excited about love that he exploded out all over the fucking place so that everything could experience that love. The master surely wants nothing more than to share this love with everyone and everything, to see everyone and everything return to this love, awaken to this love. And at the completion of all of this, every single aspect of Source will have realized this love in their own right, in its own right. So the master is doing God's or Source's work. I feel it. It's incredible. Bloody hell, I wish everyone could feel this. How can I share this? And that becomes the master's mission. The master's life is, how do I share this? How do I pass this on? How do I teach this? How do I convey this? How do I reach people with this? How do I touch people with this? How do I love every aspect of this planet, which is also God stuff, with this God stuff love that I feel? It's something to be shared. It's infinite. There's an abundance of it. There's no fear in the master. Oh, what if it's not received? Or what if there's a reaction? Or what if they don't like me? Or what if they don't accept it? The master doesn't give a fuck. It's like the sun doesn't give a fuck if you receive the light or not. The sun's gonna keep blazing. The sun's like, look at all this light I've got to give. Ah! And if you go, oh, I don't like the sun doesn't go, oh, I'm really offended, so I'm gonna stop shining. Or if the sun hits darkness, it doesn't go, ooh, I'm gonna be contaminated by the darkness. The sun just goes, yeah, baby, can't stop. This light is all I know. And the same is true for the master. The master is so filled, so full, so enlivened, lives for that love that they feel. And they can't do anything but share it. Oh, that person's not receptive, so I better stop loving. That person had a reaction, so I better stop loving. That person doesn't love me back, so I better stop loving. The love doesn't give a fuck. The love just keeps loving. Because even in fear reactions in other people, the love is still there. The love keeps loving. So the master has mastered that state of being. They want for nothing. They are fulfilled. The love life stuff that they feel is all. If it's not received, they keep loving. If it causes a negative reaction, they keep loving. The flavor and expression of that love is also an essential part of the working master. How that love is expressed, the form that that love takes, and you're all going to learn that as a part of this. It's never ever ever about shutting the love down, so the sun never ever ever stops shining. The love never ever ever stops being. But the way that you love is such an important part of mastery. That's where the working master bit comes in. The working master is that I'm talking about. That's the master. That's the God stuff. It's that. But the working master stuff is applicable. It's how it's applied. It's functional. It's practical. It's actually useful. Because all of that already is. So if that was enough, then everyone would be ascended, right? All of that love life stuff exists through everything. So if it was enough for it to just be and just exist, everyone and everything would realize it and ascend, right? So the working master is the part of this equation that helps people, helps stuff, helps systems to realize that love. And the way you do that is how you love. How do you love someone in a way that allows them to become conscious and aware of something that they weren't previously conscious or aware of? How do you love someone in a way that allows them to release those anchors, to release those things that bind them so that they can become aware of something that they weren't aware of before? It's the practical application of this love, life, joy stuff that you feel and that you have access to. And it's not a one size and one flavor fits all. It's in every single moment, you are expressing every possible fucking flavor. Because there are so many people on this planet. There are so many different things and so many different ones to love, and the Master has all people, all ones and all things contained within their energy field. So they're loving in every possible way that you can love all the time, so they can provide this love for everyone and everything. So it's not a one size fits all. It's that you got to be capable of loving in any and every way that the love is required. Sometimes the best way you can love someone is to trigger something in them so they can be made aware of it, so they can transcend it and release it and become aware of more love. Sometimes the way that you love someone is to just hold them in really intense, nurturing love for as long as they need, so they can dissolve something and become aware of more love. But the aim is always, always, always to help others to become aware of more love, to be able to access and to feel more love. That is the service. That is the return to God. And that is selfless. Of course it's selfless. It's perfectly selfless. Because there's a wanting for nothing. It's just this pure generosity, excitement, joy, willingness to share this love. But there's also the recognition of that love in other people, in other things. It's not just sharing your love with everyone. It's helping others to become aware of and to access the love that resides in them so they can become self-sourcing. This isn't about saving anyone. It's about reawakening them to the truth of who and what they are. And that's true altruism. That's true service work. There's nothing else to do. All of that other stuff that you get concerned with or that you think matters is of no consequence. Who am I? Am I important? Am I significant? What's my role? What's my place? All of that gets transcended and left behind. I am. We are. Here I am. I'm love. You don't know that you're love. Let me love you. In whatever capacity the love dictates. Sometimes you'll be loving in a spotlight. Sometimes you'll be loving in an intimate way. Sometimes you'll be loving creatures and critters that aren't human. Sometimes your love will be focused on humanity. Sometimes you'll be working with receiving and grounding more love from other dimensions. Sometimes it's going to be very visceral, very human focused. But it's always love. And the love knows. The God stuff knows. It's conscious, it's aware. And the working master has just worked themselves into a position where they can be an agent for this love life stuff. In every moment, they freed themselves up. I want for nothing. And that's what you're all working towards. That's what you're aiming for. Being in a position where you want for nothing. You're freed of all of that stuff that keeps you small, keeps you stuck, keeps you separate, keeps you in your individual consciousness, keeps you hurting, keeps you tired. You're freed of all of that stuff. You have returned and reunited with the love life stuff, and then you've handed yourself over to it. Not because you had to force yourself to, because you literally, naturally relinquish anything that's not that. You don't have to do battle with your selfishness. You don't have to do battle with your unworthiness. You don't have to do battle with your low self-esteem or with needing to be important or needing to be seen or recognized or loved in return, because you've relinquished all of that. It's just naturally fallen away. And that's how you end up in that place that the master's at, where they could choose or be anything. Anything and everything is available to them. But they want for nothing except that love life stuff. Why would I choose any of that? I'm aware of all of that, but why would I choose it? It's not in me to choose it. But because all of that choice is there, the love life stuff isn't impersonal. There's compassion in it. And that's why this human experience that you're having and that you have had is so important, because that's also an essential component of the working master part. The only way that people can receive it from you is if you understand them, right? The only way that you can bring love life stuff to someone in the way that they need it is if you have compassion for where they're at, so you're open to the flavor of love that they need in that moment. If you're just this love life stuff, fucking like great, good for you. You'll be blissed out and joyful all the time. But if you haven't had the experience that makes it working love life stuff, the stuff that binds you to this system and allows you to understand this system, then it's just vague and other people can't access it. They can't feel it. They can't do anything with it. It's not applicable. So the human experience that you have had, that you are having, that you will continue to have, is an essential component of that working master part. You're not just going to be a master, it's a working master. You've been there, you've done that, you've felt that, you understand that. You have compassion for that. You know, or you can recognize the flavor of love that is required so that that can heal. And then that's the love life stuff that you bring to that situation. So the depth and the breadth of your human experience directly dictates how successful you are going to be as a working master. If it was just about you, then no need for all of that human experience stuff. Just ascend, get out of here. But that's not what God's doing here. God wants every part to experience this love life stuff. Wants it to be passed on, wants it to be birthed, wants it to be understood, wants it to be realized from every possible angle and through every possible experience. So you gotta have that visceral, tangible, sometimes excruciatingly painful, but also fucking exquisite human experience, so that the love life stuff that's required here, so that other people can wake up to love in them, can be grounded, can be realized. Whatever flavor is required of you, you can bring it. Because you know it, you've done it, you've been there. And that's why it's so important that you go through what you're going through now, where you feel all of your feelings. You collect up all of the experiences that you've had through time. You learn, you bring all of those experiences to their completion. That's where the compassion comes from. That's where the understanding comes from. That's where you learn how to love in the way that's required in all of these different situations. That's how other people are going to benefit from you and they're going to be open to you. It's not wrong that you've had the experiences that you've had. It's fucking perfect. Because those areas where you've had your experience are the areas where you're going to really shine when it comes to passing the love on. They're going to be the areas where people are going to be able to feel you, to receive love from you, to benefit from you, your experience, your love. Those are the areas, I mean, you've got to have that full bandwidth, but those areas that you've really focused on, that's where your service work is going to happen. That's where the working mastery is. You can't be a working master in something you have no fucking clue about, can you? All you can do is be kind of snobby. Sorry, Jane. looking down upon, be seen as something that's out of reach, that's unattainable. And if you're something that's out of reach and unattainable, sprinkling your love on everyone, there's nothing loving about that. You're just making everyone else feel like shit. That's like vanity in action. Look how good I am. Look what I am and what you can't be. Look at all this love and this light that I've got. Look at you down there. Like, there's so much superiority in that. I mean, God stuff wouldn't fucking do that, would it? And that's why a lot of our hierarchy people have just, they're bumped up against a ceiling and they can't go any further because they're still caught up in that. I want to be the love without actually having to go there and teaching others how to do it from the ground up. Just want to sprinkle it on you. There's no real love in that. There's no real compassion in that. And again, the response that you're evoking is the response of making other people feel inferior and feel like shit and feel like they can't do it. That's not what love wants to do. That's not what the working master yearns to do. The working master yearns to help others to feel and to know that they can do it too. To access it in themselves, to find it in themselves. The working master wants everyone and everything to fucking thrive and return to God. Remember what you are, remember who you are. Let me pass this on so that you can access it in your own right and then you can pass it on. It's purely selfless. So the working master doesn't mind about getting their hands dirty. They don't even see it as getting their hands dirty. It's an opportunity to gain more experience, to become more competent and more capable at loving. A different opportunity to pass that love on. And they're always looking for the opportunity to love in every circumstance and every situation, everything that's going on. How do I uplift? How do I love? How do I support you? I see the love in you. Can I help you to see some of the love in you? Let me share this. And that's always the choice, but again, it's a choiceless choice. Because you've relinquished everything that would keep you from making that choice. It's all you yearn for, all you long for. It's the purpose of your existence. And I'm not trying to lord that over you as something unattainable. I want you guys to feel that it's possible. It's the truth of who and what you are. And what you're going through now, again, is an essential part of that. You can't get to where you want to be without going through what you're going through. Without feeling, without struggling, without having pain, without having wins, without having losers, without making mistakes, without getting down and dirty in some of the human experience here. This is all part of it. So stop being afraid of it. Stop judging it. This is what will make you. Everything that you struggle with, those things that you bump up against again and again, or that you have real difficulty releasing or freeing yourself from, instead of going, oh, this thing that I'm struggling with and I judge it because it won't go away, turn and look at that thing and go, that is going to be something that I'm going to fucking thrive in. That is going to become my strongest and best quality and the love that I can bring to the rest of humanity, because inevitably it is. The things that you struggle with are the things that you are going to really master. And when you can look at it that way, when you look at all of life that way, anything that is a struggle or feels difficult or that hurts or that you kind of suffer with a bit, all of that stuff is going to be what makes you the working master. All of that stuff is going to become refined, and beautiful fucking qualities in you that you can pass on to other people. And that's the way I've always seen it, even when I was this fucking big. Everything that was a struggle, I was like, oh man, this, if I can be loving in this, if I can be like really fucking good and steady in the face of this, then I can do anything. And I always looked for that. Man, how can I turn this into something that makes me even better? Oh, this is a horrible situation. Am I just going to let it be a horrible situation, or am I going to look at how I can be even better so that that situation has no fucking effect on me? And I'm thriving no matter what environment or what situation I'm in. And that's what you got to be aiming for, looking for in everything in your life, but everything that's going on internally as well. How can I have had that experience and be better for having had that experience? How can I be having this experience now and be better as a result of having this experience now? How can I be in this situation and be better in this apparently horrible situation than I was when I wasn't in this situation? Like, surely that's the goal. Surely that's exciting. Surely that's what you want to aim for. You've got to be looking for that. You've got to have that as your, it's like a switch in how you're looking at things, because you can convince yourself of anything. You can be fucking miserable about anything. You can be struggling, depressed, weighed down by anything. Any of us can choose that. I could choose to just be fucking depressed. I could choose to take on your unworthiness and believe that I was unworthy. I could choose anything, but why the fuck would I choose that? Why would I choose to have the mentality and the beliefs that would cause me to suffer, and as a result of that suffering be less capable of loving and less capable of serving? I just wouldn't. That's just stupid. But you all have these beliefs, these things that you like to believe and hold on to, that cause you to suffer, when all you would need to do is change that belief, look at it a different way, and then you could be in an experience of love and joy. So why do you choose suffering when you could be in love and joy? I've just explained to you how you can be in the most fucking awful situation that you can fucking imagine, internally and or externally, and still be turning it into something positive. Why would you choose the suffering when you could choose, fuck man, this is gonna make me so much better. I'm gonna thrive in this, I'm gonna love through this, I'm gonna be so much fucking better as a result of this. Fucking thank you. This is what makes me. Why would you choose to suffer when you could choose that? And even in that, if you're making that choice, yeah, you'll still feel it all. You'll feel pain, you'll feel sadness, you'll feel darkness, you'll feel loss, you'll feel whatever it is that's there for you to feel. But your orientation is something that's positive. It's going to produce positive outcomes. You're in an experience of joy. Your mentality, the way that you're looking at it, is positive. You're not going to suffer if that's what you're doing. The circumstances and the feelings do not dictate the level of suffering. Suffering is always a choice. Has nothing to do with your circumstances. You could be in the best circumstances possible and be thriving in every way. In your health, where you're living, the people around you, the job that you've got, you could be thriving and still have a mentality that causes you to suffer, right? I'm telling you, you can be in the shittiest fucking situation, internally and externally, and still be thriving. Still be positive. Still be joyful, because that is also a choice that you have. To suffer or to be in joy is always a choice that you can make, always. It doesn't matter what you're going through or how you feel. It's always in your power to make that choice. And if you are default suffering, you're making that choice. So you got to switch that mentality. You got to get excited about this stuff. You got to be aiming for working mastery. And remember that all of this stuff has a place in working mastery. It's what's going to allow you to be a working master, to be applicable, to be received, to be able to love in the way that is required of you, to eventually get you in a position where you've relinquished all of that stuff that could hold you back and you've surrendered to this as a state of being. This is working mastery. This is the path of the spiritual warrior. It's gritty. There's a lot of will in it. A lot of choosing. A lot of recognizing that you are the creator of your reality and that you have a fucking choice. It's not airy-fairy. The working master has all of that there, all of that available, but they've made their choice. And it was a choiceless choice, because they've gone through what you're going through now and relinquished everything that could cause them to choose something else. So working mastery is mastery applied. And mastery applied isn't just a once-off thing. It's not like, oh, you did this one good thing, or you saved a country once, or you saved a people once, or it's not some former glory. Working mastery is mastery in action in every moment, and that's what counts. That's what Upstairs cares about. Anyone can go up in flames and save some people in one great fucking task that they accomplished. It's not fucking hard. Apply enough pressure from soul level, anyone's capable of that. What Upstairs is interested in is the day-to-day, every moment application of mastery. And though you may not be where I'm describing, where you're in that love, life, consciousness, unity, sourcing your own love thing, you can still be acting as though you are a fucking working master. There's no better way to speed up your progress towards becoming a working master than acting as though you are one. If you act as though you are one and you choose that you are becoming one, then everything in your life is going to align towards getting you to that. How could it not? The universe is benevolent. You create whatever you focus on. But the working master doesn't pretend that they're not feeling how they're feeling. The working master, or the master, the adept, feels everything that they are feeling, feels everything that's going on, and makes that choice of love, has that positive mentality and makes that choice of love anyway. And that's how you can behave as though you are a working master. In every moment, you are acting as though you are a working master. You have that love, unity, consciousness, bliss shit as a part of your being. You are self-sourcing, you are serving, and that's how you behave. You behave like you have the responsibility of a working master. And yeah, you may have to fake it till you make it, but remember, we've got questions you can ask. What would love do? We know how to align, we know how to center. And you just got to practice doing those things. Oh, love would have me do this. Love would have me say this. Even if your heart is still racked with wanting. Even if there's still a shitload of selfishness and unworthiness and whatever else in your bodies, if you can come back here and ask what would love do and choose to do that despite what you feel, you are well on your fucking way to working mastery. That's how you practice. That's how you clear out the stuff that's not that. And it makes really clear all of the things in you that need to be sorted out so that that becomes natural for you. And yeah, you have to work at it because you have to work against the inertia of all of the stuff in you that's not a working master. But why wouldn't you do that if working mastery is what you want? It's going to accelerate that process. It's going to highlight all of that stuff. It's going to get you in the right mindset. It's going to get you working with love, recognizing love. It's going to get you connected to your higher self and the planet. It's going to get you proclaiming that what you want and what you're interested in is service work. Upstairs will get behind you. The universe will get behind you. And that process will be supercharged, super accelerated. So why wouldn't you do that? Why would you choose unworthiness instead of acting like you're a working master? Why would you choose a negative mindset over choosing to look for how the situation is going to make you into a working master? Why would you choose suffering when you could choose joy, which is the state of a working master? Why would you choose selfishness when you could feel how selfless love would actually have you respond in that moment? And it's all those little things. It's the moment by moment things. It's the day to day things. It's every conversation that you have. Every engagement, every interaction, how you respond to all of your own feelings, all of the energy that comes home to you. It's your relationships with other people, your relationships with life and with nature, the planet. That's what counts. It's not some big epic thing that you did right once. It's all of that day-to-day stuff. It's the choices that you make, the little choices. Little choices, they're not little. It's all those little choices that you make that set you on that path, set you up as a working master, make that the inevitable outcome for you. Even when you feel like you want to judge the shit out of something, but you choose to feel, to love, to replace it with love, fuck man, that takes you one step closer to your working mastery. Everything that you successfully feel through and you develop compassion for in your own experience or in humanity, where you wanted to recoil and you wanted to judge, that takes you one huge step closer to working mastery. It's in the behavior, in the action, that you learn how to become a working master. It's not by hypothesizing. It's not by wishing that you were there or judging where you currently are or waiting for someone to save you or to instill working mastery on you. It's through all those little steps that you take, all those little choices that you make, by being exactly where you are, loving and cherishing all of these experiences. So eventually you are going to be on the other side of this and you will be in working mastery, and I can guarantee you, you're going to be so fucking grateful for every feeling that you had, everything you struggled with, everything that tripped you up, because you're going to go, man, if I hadn't have had that experience, there's no way I could be who I am now. And you judge those experiences while they're happening. You wish they'd hurry up and they wouldn't take so long. But I guarantee you're going to end up in a position where you go, thank fuck. Because now I'm ready to step into that role. Now I'm ready to fulfill that function. Now I can love that person in the way that they need me to. Now I can bring that flavor of love to a humanity that is struggling with that thing that I struggled with. Now I'm ready. Now I'm actually able. If I hadn't have been through that, I wouldn't be able. Remember that. Align to that. Choose that as your mentality. Choose to look at what you're experiencing and going through now through the eyes of the working master, who is just so fucking good at that thing that you struggle most with now. They're a master at it. And they are smiling on you going, Go, girl. Oh, boy. Other boy. Other boy. This is how you do it. Other boy. Sorry, nearly missed you, Jay. This is how you do it. This is how you get there. This is the juicy stuff. Go for it. So, pretend you are a working master. Pretend, pretend, pretend. Imagine, imagine, imagine. Act as though you are, and you will become. You will become. Be patient, be compassionate, but also be willing to try shit, because it's the action, it's the activity, it's the little stuff that you do. Be willing to make mistakes, to fall on your ass, to get your hands dirty. You gotta do it. Don't hypothesize and wish. Do it. Be it. Set that up as the thing that you want more than anything else, and it will be so. So working mastery is mastery in practice. In practice all the time. It's applicable, it's compassionate, it can be felt, it has an effect. The system itself recognizes it as being useful because it's not vague and spaced off and not applicable. It's nitty gritty, it's gnarly. It feels everything, but it's not tempted by anything other than service orientation. It wants for nothing. It is that love life stuff in action. Is that where you're all going? Or is there something else that you want more than that? And if there is, it's probably very selfish. If you want to just lord it over people, be a master up here, then that's only motivated by selfishness. Of course it is. Vanity as well. Look how special I am. You gotta sort that shit out. You can choose that if you want to, but again, you're gonna bump up against a ceiling that's not gonna let you go any further. Surrender to love life stuff. Surrender to perfect and absolute selflessness. Surrender to where you're currently at and choose that positive mentality. It makes all the difference. Stop choosing to suffer.